Now, the one thing I must say, Pete, who's had you as his Artist of the Week, and who's also been a huge champion of you guys over here.
Oh, that's very kind. Thank you very much.
Oh,
Thank you very much.
Pete loves all this stuff. He's here with me at the moment,
Wicked.
champing at the bit. The one thing that we both sort of said is that the Duelers have a very natural, pure sound. And it must be very difficult to find that, because when you listen to a lot of the old ska things, the true ska things from Jamaica, they have a sound. There is a definite sound. And you guys seem to have picked up on it, and you seem to be able to recreate it, which is something which is I found very, very few bands have ever done. What was it? How did you do it? Was it done in the studio, or is it just something where guys have just picked it up?
Yeah, I'm first of all, thank you very much for your kind words, and if we have achieved that, then that's wonderful to hear. I mean, I'm a bit of a huge critic of my own work, and I often wonder, are we really nailing this? But it's really nice to hear positive feedback from people. In answer to your question, I think that if we are nailing it, then I believe it comes from the fact that my brother and me were huge in terms of our singing abilities, were hugely influenced by American rhythm and blues singers from the 50s and 60s, like Jackie Wilson, like Benny King, the Drifters, like Sam Cooke, Wilson Pickett, Otis Redding. Those kind of singers were the singers that inspired my brother and me to start singing. I mean, that was what we used to do just before the bands even started up. And I guess similarly to that, the Jamaican singers were influenced by the American singers too. So, for example, you've got artists like the Maytals, Toots of the Maytals that sang Monkey Man. His idol was, ironically enough, Otis Redding. That's his idol. You've got singers like Ken Booth, who was a champion of Sam Cooke and Otis Redding. So the Jamaican singers were influenced. They were influenced by those American singers of the day, which just purely by coincidence, it wasn't something intentional that my brother and me set out to do. But if you ask my brother to sing, he's got a really soulful kind of fat sounding voice, which has come from him, being hugely influenced by those American singers, as have I. My idols in terms of the way I sing are have been Jackie Wilson, Otis Redding, Sam Cooke, those kind of singers. But just male singers that have a real control and understanding of the top end of a male voice. And I guess those kind of singers have influenced us hugely. And so, as a result of that, our sound, from people's response, has that authentic flavour to it, which of course helps in the studio. We're not really trying to sound like Jamaican singers. We're just trying to sound like ourselves and the people that have influenced us. So I guess there is that similarity.
The first single came out 2006, Kiss on the Lips. That did pretty damn well in the UK. for a first single. What was it like having the first single go straight into the charts?
Well, I mean, it was one of these it was a crazy scenario. My brother, I was living in South London at the time, in a tiny flat with 2 rooms. One room had a bed and my wardrobe in it. The room next door had a very modest studio setup. I'd sandbagged up the windows to stop the sound of the buses roaring past coming out on the recordings. I was and still am a recording enthusiast, and I just felt that we had a chance to put a song out to our fan base, which had grown, quite respectably at the time. And I just was curious to see what that response would be if we actually did put a single out. I got busy writing Kiss on the Lips. I felt that it had that crossover potential of a sort of a song that, had the ska attributes, but at the same time, was accessible for the people, for the man in the street to understand it, without kind of getting too engrossed in musical genres. We put it out. People responded to it, incredibly. And we found ourselves in this really bizarre situation where we were 21 in the national pop charts without any radio support at all, which was a first. And of course, the news stations came out, and it was just this really surreal, weird situation we found ourselves in, where we scored this hit. No one was playing the record at all. And it's kind of since then become this, this talks about cult thing that took place with these two guys that went out on the street, played it in 5 different towns, managed to generate enough sales to position at 21, and we kept it in the charts in the top 40 the following week. It was still at 33 the following week, which is pretty amazing to reflect upon. So it was just one of these situations. I'll never forget it. It's a bizarre one for me, though. There's a sense of triumph, but it seems to be equally matched with a sense of bitterness that no one actually bothered to give us a chance on any of the radio stations. And everyone was like, well, we don't do things here. We have to have a plugger. Your record wasn't here 2 months ago for our man to approve, and this isn't the way things are run in this day and age, So it was a kind of like a pat on the back, but also at the same time for me, it was a kind of kick in the teeth, in that the industry is so incredibly caught up in a set way of doing things, and when something comes along that is unique, just wasn't prepared to, I don't know,
just latch on
allow
to
for
break.
Let's go. Hold on a minute. Let's just hear this record. Oh, this is interesting. Let's just play this. Let's give this record a 1 minute spin and see what our listeners think. There was just this corporate mentality of everybody does things by the book, and I was in shock, to be honest, that not one radio station, on a major level, was willing to give us a play. They were all willing to talk about us. We were spoken about on the mainstream radio stations as well. Did you hear about those two guys that managed to bust a record into the charts? But the idea of actually playing the record and just to sort of have it in the background or whatever, it didn't occur to them, and it's like, it wasn't hard to find us, with the internet. It's not like we're kind of hidden away, in a cave on the side of a mountain somewhere. We're actually, you've only got to go into the charts. You realise the guys' names are called the Jewelers, blah, blah, blah. And info at the Jewelers would be an email direct to my brother or myself, or someone that, would definitely get that email through to us. But not one person bothered to do that. And So yeah, but again, I'm not going to comment. That's not something I dwell on anymore. It took me a good couple of years to get over the fact that nobody would give us a chance. But you got to embrace the good, and the fact of the matter is, it got us known to a lot of people, and we may not set the world on fire, but we certainly managed to achieve something which we're proud of, and has brought us to a lot of wonderful people, a lot of great new fans. And the story continues. We're a real fan,